So the session adjourned on the 10th of July 2025 is reopened. The minutes and the texts adopted at the sitting of 10th of July 2025 are available. Are there any comments? No, the minutes are approved. I have a number of announcements. First of all, following the resignation of Carola Rackete and on the proposal of the Committee on Legal Affairs, Parliament takes note of the vacancy of her seat from the 16th of September 2025 in accordance with the rules of procedure and has informed the national authority concerned thereof. The competent authorities of Czechia have notified me of the election of Jaroslav Knot to the European Parliament, replacing Andrej Kovarik, with effect from 31st of July 2025. I welcome our new colleague and recall that he takes his seat in Parliament and its bodies in full enjoyment of his rights, pending the verification of his credentials. The competent authorities of Poland have addressed requests to me for the parliamentary immunity of Gregor Braun, Patrick Jaki and Daniel Obajtek to be waived. These requests are referred to the Committee on Legal Affairs. The EPP, ECR and ESN groups have notified me of decisions relating to changes to appointments within committees and delegations. These decisions will be set out in the minutes of today's sitting and take effect on the date of this announcement. The Agri and PESH committees have decided to enter interinstitutional negotiations pursuant to Rule 72, paragraph 1 of the Rules of Procedure. The reports which constitute the mandate for the negotiations are available on the plenary webpage and the titles will be published in the minutes of the sitting. Pursuant to Rule 72, paragraph 2, members or political groups reaching at least the medium threshold may request in writing by tomorrow, Tuesday 9 September at midnight, that the decisions be put to the vote. If no request for a vote in Parliament is made within the deadline, the committees may start the negotiations. The Agri Committee has decided to enter interinstitutional negotiations ahead of Council's first reading pursuant to Rule 73 of our rules. The position adopted by Parliament at first reading, which constitute the mandate for these negotiations, is available on the plenary webpage and its title will be published in the minutes of the sitting. I would like to inform you that since the adjournment of Parliament's session on the 10th of July, I have signed, together with the President of the Council, 3 acts adopted under the ordinary legislative procedure in accordance with Rule 81. I would also like to inform you that on Wednesday I shall sign, together with the President of the Council, 2 acts adopted under this procedure. The titles of the acts will be published in the minutes of this sitting. I would like to remind you of members of the Bureau's decision of the 16th of June 2025, with revised rules concerning the use of mobile phones and electronic devices and taking pictures or making recordings on Parliament's premises. You have all received the relevant Bureau notice 09/2025 on the 24th of June, and I would like to invite you to respect these revised rules to support the smooth running of parliamentary activities and the dignity of this Parliament. I have received many, it's a good adjective, requests for points of order. So I'd like you to be patient as we go through them one by one. I will first give the floor to Ms. Raquel García Hermida van der Valle.
Thank you, Madam President. Dear colleagues, I would like to have a minute of your attention for the catastrophic situation unfolding as we speak, as we gather here in Afghanistan as a result of the recent earthquakes. I am informed that EU help is already on the ground, and that's something that we should all be proud of. But let me also remind you that in the 4 years since the fall of Kabul, we have learned one thing, and that is that the Taliban do not care about the lives of women. They don't value them. And that's what we're seeing right now, with help not being allowed to reach the most vulnerable in the country, women and girls. I think that we as this Parliament have to stand firm with the Afghani people and with the Afghani women. And I think that we have to make very clear to the European Commission that they also have to make clear that Europe stands with the people of Afghanistan. They're most vulnerable. They're women, they're girls. That help should be deployed immediately and without any restrictions. And that any of those restrictions which get in the way of life-saving help should be lifted immediately. Thank you.
Thank you. I give the floor. Thank you for that. I give the floor to Ms. Hilde Woutmans.
Thank you very much, dear President, dear colleagues. I raise on a point on order under Rule 150. In July, colleagues, you all remember, we voted a strong resolution to free Mr. Joseph Figura Martin, a Belgian-Portuguese citizen who has now been unjustly imprisoned in Central African Republic for over 470 days. The same is true for Ahmadreza Jalali, who remains imprisoned under dire conditions. And Jimmy Lai, the publisher and democracy advocate, continues to be in jail in Hong Kong, facing ongoing persecution and grave risks to his well-being. Madam President, colleagues, we vote here in this House every session urgencies on the lives of European citizens. And then we say and look to each other and nothing happens. So I really want to ask you, Madam President, what can we do to get those European citizens free as soon as possible? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Woutmans, for this. I give the floor now to Ms. Alessandra Moretti.
Grazie Presidente, cari colleghi. Non molti giorni fa ho ricevuto una telefonata da una collega che mi avvisava che migliaia di mie foto erano state pubblicate su un sito sessista pornografico e date in pasto ai commenti più osceni fino ad arrivare all'istigazione allo stupro. Non sono stata la sola, su quel sito erano ritratte a loro insaputa tantissime donne, politiche e non solo. Da almeno 15 anni venivano caricate foto di questo tipo e da almeno 10 anni venivano sporte denunce. Eppure i gestori continuavano imperterriti ad alimentare questa carneficina digitale. Pochi giorni prima era stato denunciato un altro gruppo Facebook nel quale mariti e compagni postavano le foto delle mogli, sempre a loro insaputa, per poi esibirle come carne da macello in una discarica sessista e irripetibile nei contenuti. Si tratta della punta di un iceberg. Servono provvedimenti per fermare queste nuove insidiose forme di violenza di genere, per prima cosa colpendo i gestori che dovrebbero essere responsabili legalmente e commercialmente. L'educazione sessuale ed affettiva poi nelle scuole diviene sempre più una priorità per costruire una civiltà del rispetto e, aggiungo, della libertà. Non ci può essere libertà laddove ci sono violenza e prevaricazione. Grazie.
Grazie onorevole Moratti. Grazie onorevole Moretti, hai tutta la mia solidarietà su questo. I give the floor now to Mr. Rasmus Nordqvist.
Madam President, colleagues, on Friday, September 5th, I had a very concerning experience in Serbia, where I was attacked and threatened with prosecution by Alexander Vučić, the president. In a late-night televised address, the president repeatedly referred to the European Green Party delegation, composed of co-chair Vučić and myself, as scum, and explicitly threatened to prosecute us. These attacks followed a press conference in the National Assembly with our Serbian member party and our show of solidarity with the peaceful demonstrators in Novi Sad. Such personal insults, threats, intimidations and disinformations from the head of state of an EU candidate country go far beyond political disagreement. They are an attack on European democracy, on civic freedom in Serbia, on the European political family. Madam President, I urge you to respond to this very aggressive and unacceptable attack on fundamental rights, on democracy and of the freedom of speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I will speak to the Serbian authorities this week and make it clear that attacks on members of the European Parliament are unacceptable. I give the floor now to Ms. Irache García Pérez.
Señora presidenta, en el marco de la estructura de la sesión plenaria cada grupo tiene la libertad determinada dentro de la reflexión de su grupo para presentar el topical debate como iniciativa, digo, que corre en la responsabilidad de cada uno de los grupos. Y nosotros somos un grupo político que, evidentemente, siempre hemos respetado y seguiremos haciendo la libertad de expresión, pero también el respeto a los derechos fundamentales y a los valores de la Unión Europea. El artículo 169 y el artículo 40, apartado 1 de este Parlamento deja claramente que se tienen que respetar los valores y principios europeos en los debates de la sesión plenaria. Y el topical debate presentado en este caso esta semana por parte de Patriots es totalmente contrario a esos valores y a esos principios europeos. Criminalizar a la población inmigrante es incitar al odio. Es incitar al odio. Y además porque es mentira y porque se comienza hablando de peligro de los inmigrantes en contra de nuestras mujeres y de nuestros hijos y se termina pidiendo que se echen abajo los barcos que salvan a inmigrantes. Es totalmente inaceptable que esta institución permita esos debates.
Thank you. So, thank you. I understand that Ms. Fabienne Keller and Ms. Tineke Strick want to make the same point, so I give the floor quickly to Ms. Keller. Would you like to? If not, we know the point is.
Yes. Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Je m'exprimerai dans la ligne de l'intervention à l'instant de la présidente Irache García Pérez. C'est un rappel au règlement intérieur au sujet des articles 163, 164 et 169.3 sur justement ce débat d'actualité demandé par le groupe PFE. Débattons des faits. Contrairement à ce que répète l'extrême droite, les entrées irrégulières dans l'Union européenne ont baissé de 38% en un an. Par ailleurs, associer migration et criminalité est une manipulation. Les données sont claires. Les données sont claires.
Listen, please.
Les trois quarts des violences à l'égard des femmes et des enfants sont perpétrées au sein du cercle familial. Ce n'est pas en instrumentalisant la migration que nous les protégerons. J'en appelle donc, comme Irache et comme mon collègue, Tineke Strick, au retrait de ce débat et de ce titre discriminant sur le fondement de l'article 169.3 qui, je le rappelle, réfère aux articles 6 et 2 des traités évoquant la dignité humaine et la dignité de notre Parlement européen. Madame la Présidente, je vous remercie.
Ms. Ehlers, I will give you the floor after Ms. Strick. But Ms. Strick, if it's exactly the same point, just perhaps a little bit less long.
Dear President, on behalf of the Greens EFA Group, I would like to fully echo the point of order made by S&D and Renew. The debates in this House must be based on rights, freedoms, principles and values enshrined in our treaties. It's not only an obligation under the rules of procedure, but our moral duty as elected representatives of the European Union as well. We can debate migration, we can have different opinions, but we cannot allow the racist demonisation of people by far-right members. Let us, as democratic groups, collectively and firmly reject this scapegoating and show that this has no place in the democratic heart of the European Union. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Strick. I give the floor now to Ms. Ehlers.
Thank you, Madam President. The rules are clear. Rule 169 clearly states that a debate can only be rejected by a 4/5 majority. The left has been complaining since Friday about this debate. They should have raised it in the COP. They didn't. They know they do not have a 4/5 majority to have it removed from the agenda, and now they raise 3 separate points of order to still try and captivate the debate. That is not acceptable. We have chosen a factual title for this debate, and therefore, on behalf of the Patriots, we insist that this debate takes place. Colleagues, the feelings of the left neither define democracy nor can they change reality. Democracy is not the monopoly of the left. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. Can I? All right. The rules. Okay. Can we continue, please? Okay. The rules were followed. You know Rule 163. You know Rule 169. That's what governs how we adopt an agenda. I give the floor to Mr. Jan-Peter Vanke.
Frau Präsidentin, es wird ganz kurz. Bezugnehmend auf Artikel 178 der Geschäftsordnung, die der Redezeit regelt, möchte ich kritisch anmerken, dass es für die Aussprache am 9. September des Jahres zum ESF Plus keine Gelegenheit gibt, für fraktionslose Mitglieder des Europäischen Parlaments das Wort zu ergreifen. Soweit mein Verständnis parlamentarischer Demokratie geht, besteht das Parlament aus Parlamentariern und nicht nur aus politischen Gruppen. Ich fühle mich durch die oben genannte Praxis in der Ausübung meiner parlamentarischen Rechte behindert. Herzlichen Dank.
Thank you. I give the floor now to Mr. Fabio De Masi.
Vielen Dank, Frau Präsidentin. Ich beziehe mich auf die Regel 144 der Geschäftsordnung, das parlamentarische Fragerecht. Wir wissen, dass sehr viele Abgeordnete das Problem haben, dass die EU-Kommission völlig unzureichend oder verspätet parlamentarische Anfragen beantwortet. In meinem Fall habe ich am 14. März diesen Jahres eine Anfrage zu den Kontakten von Frau Ursula von der Leyen mit der Rüstungsindustrie gestellt. Diese Anfrage wurde seit über 6 Monaten nicht beantwortet, obwohl die Antwortfrist 6 Wochen vorsieht. Die EU-Kommission hat mich sogar dazu aufgefordert, die Frage zurückzuziehen, weil ich eine ähnliche Anfrage gemäß Informationsfreiheitsanfragen als EU-Bürger gestellt habe, was überhaupt nichts mit meinem parlamentarischen Fragerecht zu tun hat. Und vielleicht liegt es an einer Signalstörung des GPS-Systems, dass die Frage noch nicht übermittelt wurde. Aber ich will hier ankündigen, dass, wenn diese Frage nicht beantwortet wird, werde ich auf Grundlage von Artikel 265 des EU-Vertrages vor den Europäischen Gerichtshof ziehen und die Rechte, die ich hier als Abgeordneter habe, verteidigen. Vielen Dank.
Thank you. And in fact, you and I, Mr. De Masi, have been in correspondence over this. Next, I give the floor to Mr. Carlo Fidanza. Prego.
Grazie Presidente, colleghi. Il segno che spero di lasciare è fatto di impegno, rispetto per le persone e per la realtà. È da lì che tutto comincia. Con queste parole giovedì scorso ci ha lasciato il signor Giorgio Armani, come erano soliti chiamarlo i suoi collaboratori. Stilista di straordinaria eleganza, fondatore di un universo creativo riconosciuto in tutta Europa e in tutto il mondo, Giorgio Armani ha incarnato nella sua forma più autentica il genio italiano e il valore del Made in Italy, che per lui era semplicemente questo: bello, ben fatto e pensato in Italia, dall'inizio alla fine. Ha saputo resistere alle lusinghe e rimanere fino all'ultimo fedele alla sua città. È il centro del mio mondo, mi ispira da sempre, diceva Armani di Milano, la sua città che oggi lo saluta e che in fondo gli somiglia così tanto, discreta, lavoratrice e mai troppo appariscente. Ha amato lo sport, ha vestito le nazionali olimpiche, ha accompagnato al suo posto a bordo campo i canestri e le vittorie della sua amata Olimpia, perché lo sport, diceva, ha gli stessi valori che io inseguo nella vita e nel lavoro. La sua eredità culturale, fatta di sobrietà, modernità, raffinatezza e senso estetico universale, continuerà a renderci orgogliosi e a ispirare le generazioni future. Addio, Re Giorgio.
Grazie. I give the floor now to Ms. Małgorzata Gosiewska.
Dziękuję bardzo, szanowna pani przewodnicząca, szanowni państwo. Przed wakacjami wnioskowałam o rezolucję w sprawie prześladowań więźniów politycznych na Białorusi. Nie doczekaliśmy się jej do dziś, a tymczasem w kolonii karnej w Mochylewie zmarł kolejny więzień, Andrzej Podniebienny. Jego mama napisała: 3 września odszedł mój ukochany syn. Moje wnuczki zostały bez ojca. Jedyną pociechą jest to, że nikt już nie będzie mógł ani fizycznie, ani psychicznie znęcać się nad moim synem. Wierzę, że Boża sprawiedliwość dosięgnie winnego i żadne przestępstwo nie pozostanie bez kary. Andrzej był więźniem politycznym skazanym na prawie 17 lat kolonii karnej w nieludzkich warunkach. To już 9. śmierć więźnia politycznego od 2021 roku. W podobnej kolonii karnej w równie nieludzkich warunkach już 3. rok przebywa Andrzej Poczobut. Dziennikarz, publicysta, człowiek niezłomny. To symbol walczącej Białorusi. Wkrótce będziemy decydować o przyznaniu Nagrody Sachorowa. Zatem proszę, wybierzmy Andrzeja Poczobuta. Swoim życiem w pełni na to zasłużył, a wasz głos za jego kandydaturą może uratować go przed
Thank you
śmiercią.
very much. Thank you. I give the floor now to Mr. Yanis Maniatis. Give me a check. Hold on, hold on. Okay.
Dear colleagues, I want to express the Parliament's deepest solidarity with the victims and the injured of today's tragic terrorist attack in Jerusalem, and also underline our closeness towards all the victims of the terrible ongoing war in Gaza. I hope that this House will be up to the seriousness of the situation in the resolution we will adopt this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Maniatis. And the last point of order will be Mr. Patrikiaki.
Thank you, President. This is the first session after holiday, so I would like to raise a motion for debate in case you in future would like to say that you didn't know about this scandal. So during holiday, your coalition spent millions of euros from recovery European funds to politicians' families, for example, on PO members' spa. Then they bought 107 yachts. And now attention, please, because this is not a joke. The funds went to solarium in pizzeria, swingers club, techno party on balconies. So, if you vote even against the short debate on this matter, don't you even dare in the future lecture us about the rule of law, about how the developing European economy, unless you really think that the swingers club works for European competitiveness. But maybe, but not in the proper area. So, but anyway, if you think so, let it be a symbol that we need to restore common sense in Europe.
Okay.
So, I would like to ask for the debate.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Yaki, thank you. Mr. Halicki, would you like to reply to this point of order?
I have to answer, but I would like to answer in Polish, because this is really hypocrisy. Drodzy Państwo, kolega Jaki przed chwilą chciał debaty o pieniądzach wydawanych w Polsce, w polskich samorządach, do polskich firm, dla polskich obywateli. I chcę powiedzieć jedno. Kto ma debatować? Mąż pani Szydło, pani premier Szydło, który te pieniądze i projekty ocenia, czy pan minister Buda, który nie był w stanie złożyć wniosku, żeby te pieniądze w ogóle do Polski trafiły, bo nie miał zgody prezesa Kaczyńskiego. Żadne euro, pojedyncze euro nie zostało wydane, natomiast macie pełną, transparentną mapę konkursów, możecie je oceniać. Chciałem powiedzieć, że polska prokuratura w razie czego współpracuje dzisiaj z Europejską Prokuraturą, a nie tak jak za waszych czasów ukrywano skandale i rzeczywiście kradzione były miliardy. Nigdy w Polsce nie było tak transparentnie jak dzisiaj. A wy wstydźcie się, nie donoście na Polskę i nie wprowadzajcie sabotażu, bo te pieniądze są bardzo potrzebne polskiemu społeczeństwu.
Dziękuję, dziękuję. Okay, thank you. So for the sake of procedure, in response to Mr. Yaki's request, this was an ECR request to add a new debate, but it was declared inadmissible because it is not in response to an event or political development which arose after the adoption of the final draft agenda. That's for the sake of form. We now come to the order of business. Mr. Yaki, another point of order. We have had 34 minutes now.
Rule 164. So after COP decision, if there is development about this scandal, it should be voting. So you are afraid of voting about this debate because you are afraid of truth. After COP, there are lots of
Okay.
Lots of information about this scandal was published in Poland. So if you really would like to spend millions of euros on techno parties on balconies, I congratulate you.
Mr. Yaki, okay, thank you very much. You've made your point. Once again, the rules say that if there's no new development, it is declared inadmissible if it comes after the adoption of the agenda. So let's come to adopt the agenda. As agreed by the Conference of Presidents on the 3rd of September, pursuant to Rule 163. I would like to inform you that I have received from the TRAN Committee the following request for urgent procedure pursuant to Rule 170, paragraph 6, extension of the derogation for heavy-duty vehicles with zero emissions. The vote on this request will be taken tomorrow. If adopted, the vote will be added to the draft agenda of next part session. For tomorrow, the Greens Group has requested that Council and Commission statements on criminalisation of Palestinian human rights NGOs by the US Trump administration be added as the last point in the evening. As a consequence, the sitting would be extended to 11 p.m. I give the floor to Mr. Munir Satouri to move the request.
Oui, merci Madame la Présidente, chers collègues. Ce 4 septembre, l'administration Trump a décidé de sanctionner 3 ONG palestiniennes, l'ONG Al-Haq, le Centre El-Mizan pour le droit humain et le Centre palestinien pour le droit humain. Le PCHR est, au moment où je vous parle, en train d'être bombardé par l'armée israélienne. La position américaine est en quelque sorte un permis de tuer. Ces associations participent à soutenir les populations civiles. Elles documentent les violations de droits humains commises par l'autorité israélienne et par l'armée israélienne. Elles participent à documenter ce qui se passe à Gaza, en Cisjordanie, à Jérusalem-Est. Ces 3 ONG se rajoutent à l'ONG Ad-Damer, qui soutenait les prisonniers politiques palestiniens, qui a été sanctionnée avant l'été. Ces associations sont des partenaires du SEAE. C'est des partenaires de l'Union européenne. C'est des partenaires de nous, Européens, qui sont pour la solution à 2 États, qui sont pour la paix. On ne fera ni la paix ni la justice sans partenaires palestiniens. C'est pour ça qu'on vous demande d'inscrire son point à l'ordre du jour, pour pas qu'on regarde ailleurs quand des partenaires essentiels sont en train de disparaître. Merci, chers collègues. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Does anybody want to speak against? No? Then we vote on the request of the Green Group. Who is in favour? Who is against? Who abstains? Rejected. The agenda remains unchanged. For Wednesday, the EPP Group has requested that a Commission statement on China's unjustified decision to impose duties on imports of pork products from the EU and the need to support European farmers and workers be added to as a third point in the afternoon. As a consequence, the sitting would be extended to 11. I give the floor to Ms. Jessica Van Leeuwen to move the request on behalf of the EPP Group.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Last Friday, China announced extra import duties on pork as of this Wednesday, the 10th of September. These import duties are different for each supplying company and vary between 15.6 and 62.4%. Many EU countries will be hit heavily, and these duties will also lead to consequences for the internal market. Evidently, these extra tariffs will hurt our swine producers very badly. It is therefore important that we have a debate with the Commission with the following title: Commission Statement on China's Unjustified Decision to Impose Duties on Imports of Pork Products from the EU and the need to support European farmers and workers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I give the floor to anybody who would like to speak against. No? Then we put the request to a vote by roll call. Vote is open. Vote is closed. And it's adopted, so we will have the Commission statement and the sitting is extended to 11. The agenda is therefore adopted and the order of business is thus established. Have a good afternoon.